Welcome to part 4 in the series of a deep dive into stereotypes concerning Black people. Today, we will be tackling the stereotype that all African countries are poor. A lot of people, when they think of Africa, they think of this. While these may be parts of Africa, Africa is also this. Before we address the being poor stereotype, let's first address the preceding stereotype. Africa as a country. Yes, yes. I know it's ridiculous, but there are people that refer to Africa like it was a country. But Africa is actually a continent, the second largest behind Asia, and about 23 to 25% larger than North America. But the truth is, Africa has the most countries of any continent with a 54 sovereign nations. Now, let's examine the main stereotype. All of Africa is poor. Now, let's examine this from a couple different angles. Let's first look at natural resources. Africa is very rich in natural resources. For example, gold. Between 2023 and 2024, Africa produced about 25 to 27% of global output, with Ghana ranking 8th globally with 130 to 135 tons of gold. South Africa comes in 12th with 100 tons and Burkina Faso 50 to 60 tons. The Democratic Republic of Congo produces about 73% of the world's cobalt, which is a vital component of rechargeable lithium ion batteries used to power electric vehicles and smartphones. Still on natural resources, in 2025, Libya ranked 8th in oil reserves and Nigeria ranked 10th in the world. Africa also has the second largest rainforest, the Congo Basin rainforest, only behind the Amazon rainforest. Africa has the largest natural resources of any continent. Foreign exploitation of those resources and mismanagement is a story for another day. Let's look at the economic measurement, which is what most people mean when they say Africa is poor. Africa is considered the poorest continent in several metrics, such as average GDP and multidimensional poverty index, the MPI. The MPI is used by the United Nations and looks at several deprivations at the same time, not just money. Those are health, education, and living standards in developing countries. The Multidimensional Poverty Index is a measure of acute poverty that ranges in value from 0 to 1, where 0 indicates zero poverty and 1 indicates universal poverty and deprivation. According to the UN, in 2025, of the 6.3 billion people in 109 countries that they surveyed, 1.1 billion or 18.3% lived in acute multidimensional poverty. About 50% were from sub-Saharan Africa, 34% from South Asia, and 9% from East Asia. There is no doubt that Africa and Asia has disproportionate poverty. A lot of this can be tied back to things such as colonial exploitation. Both South Asia, especially India, and Africa experienced this. For example, under colonization, African economies were designed to export cheap raw materials and import expensive finished goods. Also, Very little industrial bases were left behind. Borders were drawn, disregarding existing ethnic groups, cultures, and geography, leaving political instability. There was foreign exploitation and mismanagement of resources. However, not all of Africa is poor. In the UN's 2025 Multidimensional Poverty Index report, in Senegal, incidence of poverty was 45.1% nationally. The rate in the poorest region, Kafrine, is 85.8%, but in Dakar, it was 12.9%. Like with most countries in the world, the national average of a metric does not translate to the entire population of that country. So, yes, Africa does have high levels of poverty, but this is not every city, every town, or every country. It is unequally distributed as with any country on the globe. African countries such as Seychelles, South Africa, Eswatini, and Gabon have low MPI values and thus low levels of poverty. In addition, according to Forbes, in 2025, Africa had 22 billionaires. That is in terms of US dollars. Seven were in South Africa, four were in Nigeria, four were in Egypt, three in Morocco, one in Algeria, Zimbabwe, and Eswatini. There were 348 centi millionaires, meaning they had at least 100 million. And there were 122,500 millionaires in terms of US dollars. And that is the end of the video. I hope I did enough to dispel the stereotype that all of Africa is poor. While Africa does have its significant challenges with poverty, there are numerous cities, countries, and people in Africa that are wealthy in both resources and money. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find it informative, please like, share, and subscribe.